During this segment, we will be reviewing baby key learnings for children 6 months to 18 months old. The lesson plan will follow as monkey walks, underwater and swooshing, back floats, glides, kicks, float, swim, float, and Humpty Dumpty. From day one, babies will be taught to close their mouth once their face comes near the surface of the water. You will teach this by swooshing the child back and forth, letting just their cheek get wet, and encouraging them to close their mouth as the water approaches their lips. Once babies learn to close their mouth while they get near the surface of the water, you will progress to putting them underwater. It is important that babies should never be placed underwater for more than 3 seconds at a time. Also, the baby's whole face, including their mouth, nose, and eyes, should go underwater. If just their mouth and nose go under, it can sometimes result in children swallowing their water and opening up mid-swim. Back floats are the primary skill that children between the ages of 6 months and 18 months will learn while enrolled in swim lessons, and it is important that a minimum of 25% of the lesson is focused on them learning and mastering their back float. You will always want to begin with the baby laying on their tummy, rolling onto their back when practicing the back float. The instructor will place both hands on the back of the baby's head, tilting their nose up to the sky, in turn popping their tummy and toes on top of the water. Once the baby is comfortable floating on their back, looking up to the sky, the instructor will gradually reduce the amount of support by alternating hands supporting the back of the baby's head, using their left hand, quickly releasing, and then re-supporting with their right hand. Once children are comfortable with the reduced support, you can lessen it even more to just using your fingertips on the back of the baby's head, again offering very minimal support, and talking to the child or singing songs to encourage them to look up to the sky rather than looking down towards their toes. Once children are comfortable without having support, you will then let them go for 3 to 5 seconds at a time to attempt floating on their own. If a child sinks underwater, you will quickly roll them back from their tummy onto their back into the proper floating position and adjust their form as necessary. When teaching glides to baby-aged children between the age of 6 months to 12 months, this will just be for teaching children to be comfortable in a horizontal position. Once children reach 12 months and older, you can actually start teaching a glide where they are reaching their arms straight out in front of them, reaching either towards the wall or pushing off the wall and reaching towards the instructor. Whether teaching parent and taught classes or doing one-on-one baby classes, it is always important to hold the child in a horizontal position in the water with their shoulders, hips, and feet resting on the surface of the pool. You can do this by holding the children one of 2 ways, either out in front of you, resting across your arms, or at the side of you with one hand on each side of their body facing forward. When progressing to glides, you will hold the child at your side, allowing them to reach forward with 2 hands and grab the wall. For babies in swim lessons, they will only be propelling themselves with kicks. Not until children reach 18 months old do they grasp the concept of scooping in order to propel themselves through the water. When teaching babies to kick, you will want the baby laying horizontally on top of the water facing you. You can place your hands either underneath the baby's chest, facing you, encouraging to kick their feet up and down. Initially, this will look like a bicycle kick, but through increased repetition, children will start to have a scissor kick, making splashes behind them on top of the water. Float, swim, float is a critical survival skill for children to learn during lessons, and it has to take place once a child already masters their back float. The float, swim, float will teach children to rest on their back and float, roll back to their tummy and swim, and roll back to their back to float in order to rest. As seen in the video, the child will be let go on their stomach and start swimming towards the instructor. The instructor will then roll their child onto their back to float for a count of 3 seconds. Once the instructor lets go, the child will roll back to their stomach and continue swimming for approximately 3 seconds until they roll back over again and rest for another 3 seconds. This will be repeated until the child reaches safety or the other wall. As seen in the second video, the child is taught if they fall or jump into the pool to initially swim until they need a breath. Then with the cue of the instructor, they will rotate onto their back in a floating position and rest for 3 seconds. They will then turn back over and swim. With the cue of the instructor, they are picked up and recognized for a job well done. The last skill for babies to learn is their Humpty Dumpty, and this will vary in the approach based on the age and skill level of the child. Humpty Dumpties are taught so children know if they are ever to fall or jump into the pool to always turn around and swim back to the wall if they have not yet mastered their float, swim, float. Once the child falls off the wall, the instructor will turn them back around, place both hands on the wall, and encourage them to hold on tight without support from the instructor.